Well, thank you very much, Congressman Sarbanes, for all of your efforts, and to all the other leaders and colleagues and advocates who join us here today, who have for a number of years been focused on the corrosive influence of big money in our political system and how we can ensure that we're putting the power in the hands of the American people. I couldn't be more proud to be here today as a representative of the freshman class, a historic group of individuals who represent the most diverse and dynamic new class of members of Congress in our nation's history. We arrived here with clear marching orders from the constituents in our district that we need to fundamentally change how Washington works and fix a deeply broken system. It's been 10 years since the Citizens United decision was handed down by the Supreme Court. That has fundamentally altered the landscape of our political system, and it has had dire and far-reaching consequences. It's tilted the playing field even more in favor of big money, of the special interest and big corporations that have outsized influence here in Washington, D.C. The new members of Congress came to Washington to become change agents, not to become part of a broken system. And we're not giving up. We're not deterred even when there are political obstacles that are put in our way. Because if we're going to be able to effectively make progress for folks back home, to make sure that we're living up to the responsibility that we assumed when we took office, we've got to stop the corrosive influence that big money has over our politics and the policies that we see being debated here in Washington, D.C. About a year ago, we helped provide the momentum to pass H.R. 1 through the House, which is the most sweeping democracy reform package taken up since Watergate, and it can help us mitigate the damage that Citizens United has brought upon us. We are proud to pass this bill that's going to limit the power of big money, make it easier, not harder to vote, and ensure that we have tough new ethics reforms. We continue to call on Mitch McConnell to stop blocking this legislation, to stop blocking the will of the American people, and help us restore the ability of everyday Americans to have equal standing in their government again. This is urgent, and it's foundational, because so many crucial priorities have been waylaid by powerful special interests. So whether it is the skyrocketing cost of prescription drugs, gun violence legislation, or our ability to combat climate change head-on, we need to get this right first in order to fundamentally make progress. H.R. 1 gives us that opportunity. You know, I'm reminded often of a quote from a campaign finance reform advocate from my state of New Hampshire. Her name is Granny D. And she said, democracy is not something we have, it's something we do. And it is not a system that's built for bystanders. We all have to be in the arena fighting. And I think that's the energy and advocacy that is represented, not just in the freshman class, but across the Democratic caucus. We need to continue to insist that this democracy is truly of, by, and for the people, that it works for everyone, and we're going to continue fighting ahead. So I really want to thank you all for being here and introduce Vanita Gupta, who's a great advocate, for some additional comment.